You're live now.
Selamat datang, everyone. Welcome, everyone from the rest of the world. Welcome to Startup Investor Match, the Indonesia edition. We're doing this together with our friends from CoHive in Jakarta. Also, welcome everybody who is in CoHive 101. We really wished we could have been joining you over there at that beautiful location, but unfortunately, I'm stuck here in a room. My name is Robin. I'm the founder CEO of the Startup Buddy. We are Singapore's startup building a fundraising platform for startups, and we're building an equity trading platform where startups and investors can find each other to connect and invest in new companies, mostly around Southeast Asia, but across the world. We have now 2,500 entrepreneurs using our platform and a network of over 1,000 investors around the world. We're based in Singapore. 85% of our user base is in Southeast Asia. Indonesia is our third market in terms of users. I'm really excited that we're doing this Indonesia edition today. There was a lot of interest to join today, as you can see later on when I show you the schedule. So welcome very much on behalf of the Startup Buddy. I usually kick off these sessions with a little bit of news about what we've been doing in the past 2 months, because we do this event every 2 months. So as some of you might have seen, about 6 weeks ago, we launched the Startup Stock Exchange. If you have a startup account on the Startup Buddy, you're now able to sell virtual shares in your real business to real investors. And investors, on the other hand, have received virtual coins. They don't actually represent money, but with those virtual coins, you can buy the startups on our platform. We're working on a lot of new features to upgrade the Startup Stock Exchange. We had a very good user test session where we got a lot of feedback from the startups and from the investors how we can improve it. So there will very soon be a feedback option where the startups and the investors can interact to upgrade their profiles, etc. There's a little bit of a play aspect in the whole game as well. This is how the platform looks on the investor side of the platform. Investors, we check every month who's been the best investor based on return of investment, and we'll be publishing that investor like we did in one of the last newsletters with Raul from No Such Ventures, who had the highest ROI in March. We'll be doing the same for the startups with the highest valuation. So a startup in your dashboard, you can see what your current valuation is across all the startups that are using our platform. So we're really excited about that, also because this is the first step for us to really enable you guys to start trading in the startups in the future once we get licensed by MAS here in Singapore. Then the Startup Buddy news. It's not business news, but I do think it's the most exciting news that we have as a team. We're a very small team, but it got a little bit bigger last Tuesday. Doris became a father last Tuesday of a really beautiful daughter. We have asked Darvis to make sure that she becomes a great developer like he is, so that she can help our team. I'm not sure if that's a little bit too big of an ask, but we're really excited for you, Darvis. I think you know that. Last weekend, I was hosting Ground Zero, which is one of the bigger hackathons here in Singapore. We had a lot of students from NUS joining in, learning how to build a pitch deck. We also just closed a partnership with FedEx. Actually, yesterday, we also closed a partnership with Glintz that some of you might have heard of. But FedEx, I assume all of you know, is one of the largest parcel delivery companies in the world. They also have a platform for startups and SMEs to learn how to run, for example, e-commerce businesses. We are going to write content for them, and we are going to use their content on the Startup Buddy Academy that the startups can use within our platform. And then finally, I want to mention that edition 3 of Founders Fusion is coming up in May. Founders Fusion is our event for startup entrepreneurs to network with potential co-founders, with potential business partners, suppliers, etc. So that will take place again in May. So with that, I want to hand over the floor to Eric, He is the CEO of CoHive and the co-organizer of this event today. And for the people who are actually at CoHive 101, you're in his house. Eric, please take it away.
Okay, thank you, Robin. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. This is the second time, right? We are collaborating. Really appreciate the partnership so far, Robin. So look forward to further. And yeah, welcome to CoHub 101 for those who are on our event space. Hope you are comfortable and enjoy the ambience. Sorry, I also could not join on your floor at the moment. So as Robin mentioned, I'm Eric, the CEO of CoHive. We are actually the Indonesian co-working operator and also the company platform that probably Robin can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So this is where we're located. We are in 4 different cities across Indonesia: Jakarta, Tangerang, Medan, and Surabaya. And at the moment, we are running 28 locations. And the size of square meter, you can see there, is 57,000. And the strength is actually we are holding like 9,000 plus members. And we continuously doing the community events, and then the attendees is plus than 40,000. So as a co-working in Indonesia, CoHive has also run our single building, which everyone can see, those who are in our event space at CoHive 101. But again, to support all the CoHive co-working platform, we are doing also the co-retail and co-living. So I will explain a little bit more on the next slide, please. So why CoHive? Why co-working? Because again, after pandemic, I think things are changed, right? We are facing different way of working. Everything pretty much need to be more flexible. So then here we are. We are giving a flexible office space for those who are needing it, and it goes to either a startup or new company or even the enterprise, especially for the startup early stage of their growth. But for the mature company, probably is an option for their satellite office, because we are located in the multiple cities, and across Jakarta also we have many locations closest to the housing area, the transportation hub, and so on. So another benefit that actually being a member of CoHive, actually you only compared to the conventional office space, of course, you only have one price, everything all included, internet, amenities, and so on. And again, with the member location and also the size that we have, this actually an advantage or opportunity for our ecosystem, especially we are having more than 1,000 companies that can help new member that probably can collaborate and then probably working together with our current member. Next slide, please, Robin. Learning from COVID, right? We are complying 100% to our local government's protocol or instruction, and also referring to WHO instruction on how we are actually ensuring that our member health and well-being is in a good care and good hand of us. So we're putting a lot of information in a regular basis. We blast all the updated information on the restriction of traveling, the office capacities regulation, and also, of course, the compliance of wearing masks, distancing, and so on. Our 101 building also putting touchless gantry. So I think once you register, you don't need to have to use your card or your finger to touch to the entrance. So your face recognition will help you to enter the space. Next, please. Yeah. So our activity as a member will have an advantage of collaborating and engaged and connected to the rest of the members and also the investors, whereby we do a community events and also partnership event. Community event consists of founder meetup and then co-learn, co-talks, and members hangout. So this is our main event that we are currently doing, our core event. As a partnership, we do also a lot of accelerator programs, speed datings, and workshop, and also masterclass. I think one of the sessions that we have now is actually part of our partnership event. For example, some of the activity we have. Next slide, please. Yeah, we have a lot of activity related to our flagship event, which is the co-talk, whereby we are inviting our partners or friends that actually prominent speakers, the specialists and so on that help our member gaining their more knowledge. Co-learn is actually more to doing the seminar, the workshop, and sharing session event from various activities. A founder meetup, we bring a lot of investors also to be introduced to our founders of our members. So between the founder, co-founder, investor, actually we creating the event. Other than that, also members is more social, more casual gathering whereby members can hang out right into a different platform. Last time, this month actually we're fasting month, so we do a buka bersama or sekarang ngabuburit. Yeah, we're talking, chatting, closer to the breakfasting time. Next slide, please, Robin. So this is numbers of activity we've been doing for the past 2 years in Medan and then in Jakarta, in Surabaya, and we do a lot more coming in through online recently in every location we have in Medan and Surabaya as well. Next slide, please. And here are our partners and friends from Medan, Jakarta, and Surabaya. Some are local partners and some are national partners. We are collaborating a lot with these companies as our partner in their specific field. And actually, we are introducing them as well to our member, whereby maybe their business is related to our partners. So with that, actually, the networking and the collaboration is getting easier and faster for our members. Okay, thank you. I guess that's the slide I can share on who we are and what is our product here. Our base, of course, is a co-working platform. We are providing office space, flexi desk, and a meeting room. But again, earlier mentioned, we are providing the backup support, which is co-living and co-retails. Co-living, basically the living accommodation for our members. We have apartments unit, customized and model for the community living. And also co-retail is space whereby our tenant can display the product, maybe testing their product and doing some like retail's approach to get the product being introduced and also being responded by the users. Next slide, please, Robin. Okay, yeah, this is the product, and then you can see we're also doing the custom build office, whereby for big or enterprise company, we built into a bigger space and design based to their needs. Event space, we provided on the rent basis, and co-retail, and it basically is a retail space. They can also customize to their brand standard of their product, and co-living as earlier mentioned. Next slide, please. Okay, so again, that's all. Thank you, everyone. Should have any question, I think we give like 2-3 minutes after this session for question and answer. However, we give you some connection there, some link there for you to chat and contact us. Thank you, Robin. Return back to you if there's no question, probably, if there's any.
Thank you very much, Eric. Let me quickly check if any questions came in. Not so far. If anybody has a question for Eric, please put it on the chat or the Q&A on the right side. I have one question. I know that
sure.
GoHive also supports companies that consider to expand to Indonesia from other parts of the world, for example, Singapore. Since we have a lot of attendees from outside Indonesia, what are the best steps for them in that sense to contact you, and what can you help them with?
Sure, yeah. I think to start with, any enterprise or company from overseas coming over to Indonesia, we will give them the access on using our space that they can register. I think normal practice in Indonesia, all the registration have to be done by their own company. However, using our area, our space is actually one of the requirements. So that's why engage with us, be our member, then all the rest, the process, I think we will support. Our team will more than happy to assist to establish your office in Jakarta or other location that we have in Medan and Surabaya at the moment. And yeah, moving forward, I think for any expansion of the space, need bigger location, need other location out of what we have now, we can also link to our network, so then we can also help them to find a new space, and we can open it for them. Hope they answered the question. Yeah.
Yeah. And another maybe a little bit dangerous question. I know that you have a lot of members, and there's a lot of cool startups working at GoHive.
Right.
But is there one that like pops in your brain that always makes you smile that they're working at your offices because they are very successful or they do something very cool? Or...
Yeah, I mean, there's numbers of members that, of course, they have the unique ideas, right? That they can, as a solution to what's been going on in Indonesia and type of the business they're doing. One that probably our president also announced, the Tani Hub is a big one here as agriculture and supplies. It was recommended by, was mentioned by the president as a new start, and they're actually growing fast. They're taking one floor with us and going for another expansion. And yeah, they're actually going to the right direction, because back then Indonesia known as agriculture countries, right? There's so many farm that need helps, and they are coming in as a best solution to the small farmer that need to supply chains of their products straight to the user instead of going to numbers of supply chains, right?
Yeah.
So,
cool. Thank you very much, Eric, also again for the renewed collaboration, and thank you very much for your entire team. They've been great the past few weeks preparing.
You too.
I'm gonna continue with explaining everybody what we're gonna do today, because a lot of people are so. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, I might sign off. Thank you everyone for the time, and hope to see you everyone soon. Thank you. All the best. Thank you. Bye.
So, as you are all aware, today's Startup Investor Match is themed around Indonesia. It's the second edition. We do country specific. The first one was last February, and we had speakers from Vietnam. Why Indonesia? Well, basically in Southeast Asia, if you are not looking at Indonesia, you're missing out on by far the biggest startup market that we have here in the region. Here are a couple of numbers that I looked up in preparation for today. So in population, Indonesia is by far the biggest country in the region with 271 million people. It's expected to be the seventh largest economy by 2025. And this is despite of the current coronavirus slowdown. It was actually expected to be number 5 economy in the world after, I think, out of my head, China, US, India, and I'm missing one. Now it's going a little bit slower than was expected, but it will overtake a lot of the major economies that we know in the West, like, for example, the UK, France, Germany in the coming years. In terms of startup ecosystem, it's very vibrant. I found very different numbers about how many startups there actually are. So it varies anywhere between 2,000 and 5,000. I'm not too sure about that. What should really interest the investors that are listening to this? It's one of the fastest growing internet economies in the world. Only last year, during the corona epidemic, there were 37% new digital consumers trying new platforms like Tokopedia, Gojek, etc., that weren't using these type of solutions before that. And all in all, that has brought in 40 million new internet users, which is quite mind-boggling if you think about it. And there are very few other countries in the world where you have that kind of growth. In terms of how internet is growing financially, there is an annual report written by Temasek from Singapore and Google every year. And they're expecting an annual economy turnover in 2025 of 124 billion US dollars compared to 44 billion last year. So that will be about 3 times as much in 5 years difference. Then in terms of the startups, everybody in Indonesia probably knows this list by heart. However, we have people from outside Indonesia too. So probably the most well-known one is Gojek. Tokopedia is also everywhere if you visit Indonesia. And then there's other very well-known companies, for example, in travel, like Traveloka. These are the main ones based on CB Insights data, but there's a lot of other companies that you should really keep an eye on. In terms of investors, sorry, I think people are trying to message me, so just let me check. In terms of most active investors. These are the investors that are from Indonesia itself. Of course, there's a lot of investors also coming from outside Indonesia and investing in the local startup space. But based on Crunchbase data, we have Alpha GWC Ventures, Convergence Ventures, MDI Ventures, Prasetya, and SMDV as the top 5 most active investors right now. So it's a very interesting country where a lot is happening. We'll have people later on that know much more about the local ecosystem than I do. The program for today. Things are gonna work. We'll have 3 rounds of those. Then between the first and the second round, we'll have Chandra Fermanto managing.
I'm sorry, but Robin somehow lost his connection and will be back soon. Meanwhile, here is the first round of meeting that investors and startups are going to have. I'll quickly share the screen. Yep. So for round 1, so here's the scheduled meeting for round 1. Startups and investors can look at the names and head towards the table. You can take either the picture of it or you can look for your name.
Sorry everyone for dropping out. That's what happens in Corona if you depend on an unstable internet connection. For the schedule that Sakshi is showing, you have also received the schedule in your email about 20 minutes ago, so you can check there too. In terms of if people are not on the call, I haven't been able to check that. I will do that when you guys are in your meetings. Between round 1 and 2, I will try to check who's here and who's missing, and reschedule wherever possible. Sakshi, did you cover the rest of the explanation?
Yep, I think I switched directly to the matching part.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you cover AirMeet too, or do I still need to do that?
No, you have to do it, yeah.
Okay. Okay, you just share your screen, then I will talk everybody through it. So for those who are new to AirMeet, as you saw probably when you logged in, you will see virtual tables. Basically, by clicking on one of the little chairs, you will sit at the table, and when somebody joins the table, you will be able to speak, very similar to how you're used to doing on Zoom or something else. There's a startup buddy table where you can join if you need help or if there's something wrong. And there's tables that don't have any logo. The tables without a logo, you can join at any time. However, the tables that have a logo, they are the logos from the investors that are participating today. So during the meeting rounds, please don't join there unless you're scheduled to meet that investor. Because they're supposed to be private sessions. Then there's a chat function on the right side. If you get stuck with anything, please drop a message there. You can either drop a message to everyone if it needs to be public, or you can search for somebody from the Startup Buddy or Co-Hive team. So for the Startup Buddy, technically, you should be able to find Sakshi, we have all met, Darvis, or Mauricio, and they will try to help you with whatever questions you have. There's also a purple button at the bottom right side. There's people from AirMeet live there. So in case you have like a connection problem or whatever, open up that button and they will try to fix it for you. Then for everybody who's visiting in Co-Hive 101 in Jakarta, as much as possible, I've tried to schedule your meeting based on the investors that are on location. However, there are 6 startups in Co-Hive and 2 investors. And since we don't want to waste your time, you also have meetings with investors that are online. So please check the schedule. On the schedule, you can see if somebody is in Co-Hive or if they're on AirMeet. Depending on where they are, if they are in Co-Hive, there should be tables set up. You can go there and meet your investor there. If they're online, go to the calendar invite that you have received. You will find the AirMeet link that we're using right now in there. And through that, you can find all the investors. Then the startups for today, they're from around the world. I'm not going to individually introduce all of them. Shuper is going to pitch later on. There's a lot of startups from Indonesia itself, like Wishlist, Mangan, Umro, and Loyal. There's also startups from other places in the world. Thrive is from Singapore. Ready Teacher comes from Australia. Vamos is also from Singapore. And the founders will introduce you to what they actually do on a day-to-day basis. And then for the investors, these are the investors that were registered before the session, also from around the world. So Expert Dojo is all the way from the US, San Francisco. Insta Ventures is from Cyprus. There's a lot of Indonesian and Singapore VCs, of course. And No Such Ventures comes from my birth country, the Netherlands. Okay, so with that, let's get into why everybody is joining, meeting your investor or startup. So for the first round, please again have a good look here at the schedule. Behind your name, or sorry, in front of your name, there's a number. Basically, search for the investor with the right number or the startup with the right number. Sorry, I'm saying that wrong. So investors, please go to the label to the table that is labeled with your fund's name, and stay there so that the startups can come to you. Otherwise, you keep on searching each other, and that's not very practical. Startups, please make sure that you know which investor you're meeting in round 1, and then search their table and join them. For people that unfortunately don't have a meeting because either the startup or the investor is not here for whatever reason, I will do my best while you're meeting to reschedule. But basically, don't break into sessions that are going on. If after 5 minutes you see that an investor is by themselves at a table because there's no startup joining them, that probably means that the startup is not here. Then it's okay, of course, to go there. But don't break into sessions, please, that are going on. So with that, we're going to kick it off for today. It's let me see, 2:40 in Jakarta, 3:40 in Singapore. So this round will be until 4 o'clock. Have fun and see you in 20 minutes.